Hi, I'm Kathy. I'm the Adult Services Librarian at the Waynesville Library. Today I'm going to show you how to make Chinese steamed barbecue pork buns. So the first thing we're going to do when we get started here is making the filling. The filling is diced pork that you've already cooked, and I have a recipe on our website how to make the char siu barbecue pork, and you would do that the day before. And the filling is some olive oil or canola oil with a third of a cup of diced onion. And then to that we are going to add some soy sauce. The recipe for the exact amounts is on the library webpage. A little bit of black soy sauce, which is a little different from regular soy sauce. It's darker, smells a little like molasses, adds a really nice flavor to dishes. A little bit of oyster sauce, about a teaspoon. These are all ingredients that you can get at Ingles or Publix, or at the Asian market in West Asheville called YZ. It's on Leicester Highway. A little bit of sesame oil, about a teaspoon. A bit of sugar. Just whisk that. Sugar starts to melt right away. And a little bit of chicken broth. I like to use homemade. If you don't have any, you can use store-bought, about a half a cup. I just think that homemade chicken broth tastes a lot better than the canned stuff. All right, so you bring that up to a simmer, and then you're going to add a little bit of flour to thicken it. Let me make sure I haven't missed anything here. That's it. All right. So let's get that a little hotter. Add a little bit of flour, it's about 2 tablespoons. And you just whisk it in, and it will start to thicken right away. If you'd like to make it a little reddish pink, like you see this barbecue pork in a Chinese restaurant, you just add a little bit of red food coloring. After about 3 or 4 minutes, you'll notice that it gets really thick. It looks about like gravy would look. This is without the red food coloring, so I'm going to show you what it looks like with. This is a batch I made yesterday with the red food coloring. It's totally up to you. All right, so now I'm going to add about 2 cups of already cooked and diced roasted pork. And you just mix all that up and let it cool. This is going to be your filling. All right, so we're going to set that off to the side for a few minutes and let that cool. And in the meantime, while that's cooling, since I already have some filling that I made yesterday, I'm going to use that. I'm going to show you. This is what the dough looks like after it's risen. The exact quantities are on the recipe on the website. But it's an interesting dough because it's low protein flour, so make sure that you buy store brand all-purpose flour, not King Arthur. King Arthur is very high in protein. You won't get the right texture. Cornstarch, sugar, yeast, and water, and a little bit of oil. So the dough is very fluffy, and you'll notice it's not real high in gluten, so it doesn't have a lot of stretch to it. That's what you want. So I'm just going to pull some of this out. And I made this morning. It has to rise for about 2 hours. So what you do is you roll it out into a log, and then I'm going to cut it into sections. Should get 10. That was a double recipe, so if you just make it as it's written, you get about between 10 or 12 buns. that's it. So you just set those aside. Okay, so you've got your 10 or 11 pieces of dough. Roll it into a ball and then flatten it out a little bit. And then using this little rolling pin, which I prefer over the big full-size ones for this job, it's so much easier to have a little tiny rolling pin. And you just get it into a circle. And then once you've rolled it out to about 4 inches, you want to flatten the edges out a little bit. Leave it a little thicker in the middle. Like that. Pick it up. Scoop some filling into it. About a tablespoon or 2. And then if you want to pleat it beautifully, you certainly can do that. I don't ever go to the trouble of fully pleating. You can see videos of it online, it's beautiful. But I like to just pinch it on the sides, get all the filling tucked in there, and leave it open in the top. And then I put it on a cupcake paper that I've just flattened out. Keeps it from sticking to the steamer. And when I have another one ready, I'll make one more, I'll put them in the steamer. And they have to cook for 12 minutes. So don't put a few in and then continue rolling. Make all of them at once and then put them in, because they really need to cook for the full 12 minutes. All right, so that's what it looks like. Then we press the edges out a little bit, leave it a little thicker in the middle, a little bit of filling, and then pull it up. This one's like a little package here, and I'm just going to fully enclose it, so you can do it either way. All right, so there's one that's fully enclosed. Cupcake liner, or if you just have parchment paper, cut it into little squares like this. And that's going to go in your steamer. So after you've got all of your buns ready to go into the steamer, either on a cupcake liner or a piece of parchment paper, make sure your water's already boiling. Pop these in there. Put the lid back on. After 12 minutes, this is what they look like. So this is the open one, and this is the one that's fully closed. And you'll see when you break it open. Doesn't that look good? Nice little barbecued pork sandwich. It can be eaten room temperature or hot. Actually, pretty good cold too. So if you would like to see the written instructions and the recipe, just go to the library website. And if you have any questions for me at all, just email me at the email address that you see below. Thanks for watching.